right? You don't have to know what's being healed. And this is something which I always work with when I work one-to-one with people. I know we're very curious and we want to know. And I always say to people, like, my intentions when I do the work, when I work with people, like do healing, I always set the intention that firstly, that the higher self and the I am presence guard over or look over the session and control, not control, but take directorship of the session, not me, right? Because your I am presence and your higher self has your entire blueprint and they know exactly what's required. Okay. Also, if we're starting to get stuck into things like, oh, this is coming up and I really want to tap and I want to explore this a little bit more, what can happen is that we can really get attached to it rather than transcend it. A lot of times with healing, and this really comes from like almost 30 years of experience of working with people, is the more we can hold an awareness and a presence of what is arising, what is emerging, and to be the witness to it, that facilitates the healing. When we've identified with it, we're in a place of entanglement and attachment, right? And that can often slow down the healing process because what happens is that we're stuck in it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So healing, people say to me, I'll get a lot of requests. So can you heal this? And can I do this? And Nikki, if we work on this, can we heal this? And I always have the same answer. Ultimately, you can heal anything. You can heal absolutely anything and everything. There's a couple of things to take into consideration. Healing has a couple of layers to it. Firstly, when you understand what healing is, and this is what the green ray taps us into. So when we're working with the meditations of the green ray, kind of really bring this information forward for yourself. Healing, the rays, the flames, are a frequency. They're a consciousness, right? Okay. If you are experiencing distortion within your body, within the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, you will have a frequency, whether it's distorted or not. It will be either in a denser frequency or higher vibrational frequency, right? Do we all agree on that? Okay. And you may experience the expression of that frequency as pain, suffering, distortion, right? Okay. So when we bring healing in, when we ask for healing, we are asking for the highest frequency available to us, the frequency that is going to bring the most harmony and the most alignment within the soul evolutionary expansion point, not the vessel, right? Your consciousness is infinite. We're not just focusing on the vessel. We're focusing on the soul evolutionary expansion, right? Because in the quantum field, for example, if I'm experiencing something right now, right? So if I ask for the highest available frequency for my soul evolutionary expansion, that will become available to me, or that will become available in the quantum field. Now, I may not be able to access that, but within the quantum field, an aspect of me that needs that frequency will be able to access that. Does that make sense? And because they've accessed that, because they've healed whatever was available or whatever was required to heal, they've cleared that density, that automatically, through particle wave theory, creates that ripple effect, which will directly impact me. which will facilitate the clearing of the karma or the contracts I have in place, so that I don't experience that density or that distortion in that level of density that I was experiencing it before. Does that make sense? So, are you all with me with that? Does that make, yeah. So I've often had clients who come in for healing, and when I've checked, they absolutely need that. Like, they need that condition because they contracted to have that condition, because that is what they needed to give their soul needed that for the expansion point that was required. Okay. But because we create distortion around that, it distorts the entire field. So the aspects of us who don't need that distortion are going to be in direct impact or direct influence of that distortion. Okay? So what we can do is we can clear the severity, so that that doesn't have to be experienced in absolute severity. And that's the powerful part of healing, is that sometimes we don't have to understand the intricacies of that. We just need to open up to receiving and being a vessel of those highest frequencies available, whether we are going to directly benefit from them or not, because it doesn't matter, we will eventually benefit from them. Yes, Liz.